Hey guys, it's Chris, and welcome to the Toned and Toneful video podcast, episode number 40, Priorities, the difference between being busy and being done. So in this week's episode, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about why priorities makes such a huge difference in our ability to be productive during our week and during our days. Prioritization is one of the things that makes you able to be the kind of person who has the tasks that you want done to be done, or it could cause you to be the kind of person who's has a meaningless kind of like organization to your day, a bad schedule, and you don't have your ducks in order, so to speak. You don't have the tasks that you want the most importantly handled, all the way down to the one that can be handled at any part of the day. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about prioritization with you guys, is because last week we were kind of talking about how when we focus and we have like less going on in our life, we actually have more going on in life. We're able to maximize more when we have not as many things going on to the day-to-day life cycle. So we're able to think a little bit clearer, and we're able to put a little more pizzazz into that particular task that we're trying to do. And so this whole month of April, I'm kind of thinking about how we're moving towards spring now, and it's really coming out here in California. It's been nice and warm. It's been sunny again. People have been out enjoying the weather, which makes California awesome. It's one of my favorite things about living out here. So it's been great. And I believe that in this time of the year, it would be of correct theme and of correct season to become lighter, so to speak. So that's why I've been talking about the subjects that I've been choosing these last couple weeks, about minimizing our focus and about maximizing what we put our time into. A lot of what I've been thinking this last month is how much during the wintertime it's easy to get into that hustle culture. You get into that the holidays, you got to get everyone gifts, you get into the new year, I got goals, so I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to live up on my plans this year, I'm going to release some music, I'm going to get a new car, I'm going to buy a home, I'm going to get married, whatever it is that you have on your list of things that you want to do. I'm pretty sure this is the time of the year that you're building those up. And it's really easy to get caught up in prioritizing a lot of things to the point where at the end of the day, everything seems like the most important thing you have to do. So I want to talk to you guys about how I prioritize my day and how I prioritize some of the actions that I go through on the daily, and how I minimized some of the things that I was paying attention to in order to make it much more of a powerful effect on the things that I am working on. Again, I want to maximize my output on the things that I want to have done, and not just try to do 10 things at the same level of like, oh, I'm going to do everything to this level just to like do it, and then find out later that a lot of it was wasted effort. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about as far as prioritizing is, how do we spend our free time? Now, when we start prioritizing our time and we start prioritizing what we could be doing, do you realize what you could get done in an hour? You probably can get more done in an hour than you think you can get done in an hour, and you'll probably over project what you could get done in a year. So people always think of an hour or two as like no time to get anything done. And so people will aimlessly scroll on their phones. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who, when they wake up in the morning, one of the first things we can do to prioritize our time and save a little time is don't do any meaningless scrolling on social media. If you're going to be on there to make a post yourself and then see what's going on, that makes sense. If you're on there to like share a story about something that's going on in your life, and then you want to see a couple other people, what's going on with them, and like a couple stories or whatever it is, that's fine. But just to jump on social media multiple times per day and just scroll 15 minutes of scrolling. And after about the first minute, you're looking at the same post that you've seen before. You just either haven't liked them yet, or there's just, the algorithm's got it set up so that you keep seeing the same thing. What are you looking at? If you can't prioritize this small amount of time, this is going to be a lot harder to work into the higher levels of prioritizing time, because one of the first levels that we want to be able to encounter, and one of the first levels that we want to be able to attack, is our ability to save time on meaningless scrolling and meaningless kind of time waster activities that we do in the morning. Now, I'm not saying writing in your journal is a time wasting activity, but if you're writing in your journal every day and you're not finding that you're writing anything, or you're finding that you're having a hard time expressing yourself, you might want to find a different way to do it, because the morning is when we're the most awake and we're the most fresh. So we could be utilizing this time to be getting things done. So if we prioritize our time in the morning when we first wake up, that first hour or two of like getting right into what we could get into, less time from the thought to what we're actually doing, this is why prioritization can be really important. So if you're taking something out, and that's great, okay, cool, I'm taking out an activity and I'm minimizing, but what am I filling it in with? That becomes the question. What am I filling it in with? And a lot of people are they're gonna pull something out of their daily schedule and they're gonna feel relieved. But the point of removing a part of your daily schedule isn't to feel relieved by doing nothing. Actually, a part of removing your daily schedule is to feel relieved to have more time to do the activity that you've been behind on. So say, for example, right now you're working on a project like music. We're going to use music always as an example because music is a lot of what this channel is based on. And so we're going to take a music project that we're working on. We're working on our album. And this last week, you've put time in when you've gotten off work, or you've put time in the afternoon, but you haven't been able to really make real gains on your album. Say you're putting an hour or two every night. That's between 7 to 14 hours of working on music. Now, realistically, how long it takes you to track ideas and how long it takes you to build a track that you consider quality is different on every person. Now, some people, the quality might be the uniqueness of the music. That might take more or less time. For some people, the quality might be derived from it sounding exactly as it sounded in their head. For this person, it might take even more time to finish the music. For one person, maybe they're just trying to get a demo together so that their drummer and bass player can hear it and they can start kind of, being more physically, intact with the riffs. They can be, this part on this one, let's move this note to this note, and let's do this to this, and let's, so they can be more physical about it. So depending on the goal of what you're trying to do, the amount of time might vary. But if you're trying to, say, record an album and get something done with spare time, you're going to need hours. You're going to need time. And if you're spending 30 to 40 minutes on your phone in the morning, just kind of scrolling around, seeing what your friends did last night at 11 o'clock at night, and feeling jealous or feeling upset or feeling like, dang, I guess I should have stayed up last night, or dang, I guess I should have been working on my song more, look at them, now they have a new single out and I have nothing, or, oh, look at this, they're happy and I'm not, whatever it is. So whatever little weird thought is starting to encroach upon your mind and make you feel weird, you need to work on that by prioritizing what you need to do. So if you can remove that little bit of time that you're wasting on the phone in the morning, the little bit of time you're wasting on halfway walking to the bathroom and just kind of being like, oh, cool, I'm going to wash my face off and walk around, find what items that you need to tend you, to make you feel good, but how do you prioritize your day? So first thing, okay, I don't write in my journal every morning, or I pull out my journal and I tend not to write, but I'm really good at making voice memos and, doing a video journal rather. Then spend 5 minutes on a video journal rather than wasting 30 minutes with a piece of paper in front of you saying that you're going to journal every day. We want to do effective things for us. So if we're going to prioritize energy into self-help, let's prioritize it into things that actually do help. If the self-help doesn't work off the bat, maybe your mind is very, very, very quiet in the morning and it's hard to get your brain started up, then maybe you can start with a workout. Maybe your body fires up faster than your brain does. And this is a great time to start getting a workout in and start changing our body, because that is one of the things that should be a priority on our list. I really hope is health for you guys. Health and longevity is what it's all about. It's not even just about being the most fit person in the world. It's about being 60 years old, not spending 3/4 of your time in a frickin' hospital. Come on, guys. Really? Is that what you really want to be doing with your time? So taking into mind, okay, what things actually help me during the day? Okay, cool. I have a list of the things that actually help me during the day. And I'm pretty sure you have a list of things that's probably more things that you like than this list over here. The things that help you, you're like, oh, God, brushing my teeth is kind of boring. Oh, God, prepping food, kind of annoying. Oh, God, getting clean and ready for the day, a little bit annoying. But what things do I like? Oh, I love scrolling on my phone. Oh, I love laying down on my bed to take a nap. Oh, I love just kind of like kicking back and like watching, Netflix and just catching up on this show that I've been meaning to catch up on. Oh, I love eating this piece of cake. Oh, I love, and so like when you start noticing the list of things you do like, you realize that the things that you like are definitely not as good for you as the things that are good for you. And I don't know what it is in human nature, but there is something in us that does like to waste time on things that maybe are just pleasures that I don't know what it is, but they're pleasures that we definitely need less of. So if you can find that you're like, hey, I'm wasting time on watching 2 Netflix shows a day and I'm scrolling my phone for 30 minutes, that's an hour and a half that you could be adding to your project. Do you know what an hour and a half every day will do? Did you know that if you practice a song for an hour every day, what you sound like after 2 weeks? Sound pretty decent. And if you're not the fastest learner, well, then you're on your way. But either way, I mean, you're sounding way better than the guy you were 2 weeks ago, not practicing that song for an extra hour and a half a day. Or what other kinds of things do we tend to waste time on? Is it easy to waste time on, saving money for things that you think will help? Another thing with prioritizing is not only prioritizing our time, but prioritizing our finances. If we actually waste less finances, we actually will have more money, so we waste less time working. And I know this might sound kind of like, well, why don't you just earn more money and not care? That's very doable. But I think that if you save money at the places that you can save money, you start realizing that you have a lot more time. A lot of us get caught in the FOMO of life, and we want to buy stuff. We want to be materialistic, and we will spend our money. And when we spend our money in those places, we'll find that we're broker. And when we're broker, we end up doing weirder things with our time. For example, like if you're broke and you have things that you can sell at your house, you're going to spend all your time trying to sell stuff or trying to move things or trying to make money back rather than choose not to buy maybe the thing that you want at the moment. A lot of times, a lot of musicians have faults for kind of wanting a certain piece of gear before they finish music that they're working on. Everyone's got a different thing that they want. Sometimes people want a certain plug-in. Some people want a certain guitar. Some people want a certain piano. Some people say they want to add an instrument into the mix, so they're going to buy a completely new instrument. Either way, if you don't have to literally buy that thing and you can literally save money so that you can put more of your mind into where you are at rather than being $2,000 broker and then trying to figure out how to do overtime at your job and how to do extra things to make up for the finances you just spent for something that will probably make a marginal difference. I mean, will you feel happier finishing your album with a new guitar? Of course, doesn't everybody? Everyone feels great when they're playing with a new guitar. But the real question is, are you any further in your music than you were with the old guitar? And the answer 99% of the time is going to be no. The answer is going to be no. And the answer is going to be no. You don't need more stuff. You don't need to prioritize more things. You need to prioritize your musical thoughts. And that brings me on to my next one. So if we're prioritizing our money and we're prioritizing our time, what's the next thing that we can prioritize again? And it's another thing that's free. It's our thoughts. If we can prioritize where we're spending our time in our thoughts, if we're spending our time actually thinking about the task at hand and making it better, we can actually make things better. For example, if we're consistently asking ourselves questions about the projects that we're working on and we're prioritizing what we're doing at the moment, we're not like sitting there going like, oh God, what am I going to eat for lunch while we're working? Instead of thinking about what you're going to eat for lunch, work as hard as you can until it's time to eat. And then let yourself tell yourself what you're going to eat. Or meal prep. One of the two. Do something. But do something other than try to think something different than what you're doing. Because you're actually wasting time. So for example, if you're the kind of person who's going to be working on a project and then thinking about what you're having for lunch, you're doing neither one of them very well. You're pondering your food probably a little bit, and you're pondering your work. And guess what you're not doing? You're not actually getting really good work done. I've noticed that as I've worked on music more over this last year, I used to do this thing where I would kind of riff on an idea for a long time. And then after maybe a couple of weeks, I'd finally start to record it. 2 episodes ago, I talked about how what we want to do is we want to get from what's going on in our brain to what's happening in real life as quickly as possible. So for me now, the goal is, okay, cool, that's an idea. Okay, how do we start recording it? And you start recording it. And you can see the idea quicker and you can prioritize the thought. Now, to raise that idea, not only just going, okay, cool, I have an idea, I'm going to do it. Are you actually involved in the project? Are you actually involved with asking, okay, this note sounds good, but there's something that's not there? Or are you able to be kind of in your head, hey, I know my aim is to do this with this song, but how am I not achieving that? Or why is this not what I expect? And when we can talk to ourselves and when we can really geist in, or we can really get into the mindset and geist ourselves to do the work that is right there, to really encourage ourselves to ask those questions, to really encourage ourselves to prioritize what's going on in front of us, we're going to save more time. Because every time you ask a question, you can reformat what you're working on. And I've noticed the more questions that I ask while I play music, the music evolves as a piece so much more per playing session. I get so much closer to what I want quicker because I'm actually legitimately asking myself, how can I get to what I want? Rather than being set up in a position where I'm oh, I hope I get to where I want. Because that might not end up with you being anywhere. That might not end up with you having done anything to the appropriate manner that you want. And that's the biggest bummer, is not prioritizing what matters to you and waking up the next morning or having those moments of realization where you sit there and you go, oh yeah, that is so important to me. Why am I not taking care of this? And I'm pretty sure we all have a part in our life where we're doing that. Or we're just not mentally connecting on something that's so important to us. That could be your music project. That could be the promise that you've been telling your mom that, hey, I'm going to take you to Disneyland my whole life, and mom's getting old and you haven't taken her to Disneyland yet. Dad's getting sick and you said that you're going to take care of him and you haven't been there. These are all things that build up. And priority is being able to actually look at what's in your life and evaluate and pull something to the front and go, this is what I'm going to be doing. This matters to me. I can build this. And then taking that and putting it in the forefront of what you're doing throughout your day. Taking little things like you're on your phone and you're scrolling around. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is your life, man. Looking at the same 3 jokes that everyone's sending each other on the internet? Having no projects finished in life? Really, you're walking around in your life with projects unfinished, not started. We're all busy, I get it. But where is our ability to enjoy what we're supposed to be doing? The humanity we're supposed to have? There's a love for life that lives inside of all of us that I think a lot of us put away. In the fear of missing out, a lot of us lose our prioritization of a lot of things. We lose what we want in order to have everything. I never really thought about it like that. So everybody's trying so hard to have everything that they actually don't even get one thing they want. They want everything. Everyone wants the big house. Everyone wants the nice car. Everyone wants the lifestyle, the good-looking spouse or partner, whatever. Everybody wants the nicest thing of what they like. So if it's shoes, then it's this pair of Nikes or this rare thing that this rapper wears, or if it's jewelry, then it's this necklace that has so many carats, or if it's muscles, then everyone's got to be the buffest person, the most shredded possible. They can't understand that the priority is just to work on what you want in life. If you want to have a project that's a physical project, that you want to build something, you got to start building things. If you want to have music that people can hear, You got to start doing all the background stuff on that, getting the artwork done, getting everything going. But if we don't prioritize our mission every day, how are we going to do that? The priority setting is what makes the difference between a project being done or you just being busy all the time, you just being in a world of FOMO. And every minute's just running around, oh, I hope I'm going to get this done right. Oh, I hope I'm going to do this right. And deep down inside, you know you're struggling. You know you're struggling. Because you're wasting so much time. And the worst part is you're wasting time to get bad results out of yourself. It's a scary situation that a lot of people are in. And I know I'm kind of rambling, but it's just at this point, it's just so important to me that people prioritize the missions in their life and, saving money and prioritizing where you can put your money, important. Prioritizing where you can put your mind, so important in your thoughts. Prioritizing what activities that you take place in and what you give your time to. And the biggest skill that you're going to walk away with above all is being able to go, hey, I know how to look at my life and judge what I want in it and take what I want out of that and make something. And I think that if you can do that, you can see where you're at, make an assessment, and then jump into that and use that assessment to prioritize your life and to put your missions first and to realize what matters to you. That's what matters. That's what matters. I really hope you guys have a productive week this week. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed episode 40, priorities, the difference between being busy and being done. I hope you guys take some time in this next week to think about where your priorities are and where you're going to be able to save time and where you're going to be able to make a more concise effort towards the things that you want, whether that's your health, whether that's finding a way to make a little time for a little bit of health and a little bit more for family. But whatever way that you want to do that, just know that I'm here to support you. I'm here for your DMs. If you guys have made it this far into the episode, shoot, you guys rock. I just want to say thank you to you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoy your week. And remember, above all else, stay toned and toneful.